This is the Mattig Mark II Astra GTE. There was only 3 ever built in the UK. The 80s modifying world was all about being big, brash, in your face. It was the era of shoulder pads. It was the era of hairspray and perms. The car scene was no different. There was this one. There was one in Scotland by a company called, I think it's Super Speed, and then there was a black one. Now, the reason why they were so rare is the body kit was the same price as the car itself. There was a gentleman in Germany called Peter Mattig who opened a company called Mattig Tuning, and this is one of their body styling packages they would offer for the Opel industry. It's wild to think that you go to all this extremity on the outside to basically be near enough standard on the inside. It is just a 16-valve Astra GTE interior with the usual, the steering wheel with the 16-valve GTE badge, the digidash, and what looks like some gauges on the dashboard. Mattig Tuning was more known, and the most famous car they ever got involved in was for a movie called Manta Manta. There was a wide arch, multicoloured Manta, which was the main character of that video. So the engine is just a bog standard C20 XE, relatively low mileage because this thing has been stood for a minimum of 7 years doing nothing. The owner bought this, used it for a few weeks, put it away into storage, and then I've basically come along and we've pulled it out. This has to be one of the wildest and widest cars I have ever seen in my life. Now, sitting here, you have these huge arches over the rear that you can see in your wing mirrors. It looks insane. Talking to the previous owner, he said the width of the tyres made it near enough undrivable. It trammed, it pulled, it was awful to drive. And I can just see that by turning on a small circle. You can feel the tyres skipping. Oh, it's wild. The tyre noise as he's flicking the stones up, yeah, it's insanely wide, this. It does tram a lot. We're not doing very fast, but you can already feel the tyres pulling you to either way. It's bonkers, this, to drive. Just looking in the rear view mirror of how wide it is silly wide. Now, this is, luckily, the car is off the road at the moment and has been tucked away for 7 years. Now, luckily, this is on an old disused runway, and we've been able to basically ask the owner, and we're having a drive around the estate to see what it's like. Yeah, it's an old Astra GTE, drives like one, but you've definitely got to be on a bit of your A game because the tyres do pull you. I can only imagine what a Lamborghini Countach must be like with having it rear wheel drive and the massive tyres. Because this, like I say, it does tram, I'm not going to lie. It pulls a little bit. It's when you get to speed. At low speeds, it's quite alright. When you get up to speed, it starts tramming. I think the biggest thing you notice on when driving this car is the size of the arches in the rearview mirror. It does fill up like a quarter of the corner of the mirror with the huge back arches. And also with the window down, you can hear a lot of the road noise and the stones being flicked up. They're on a disused runway. I think because the tyres are that wide, it's flicking them up and you can hear a lot of it. As it picks up speed, the tyres do make it tram. But saying that, they're probably 30 years old. In fact, I think they're around 20 years old. But I wouldn't like to do 100 mile an hour plus in this thing because it does pull you from side to side a little bit. It's a very nostalgic car to be in for me because this was one of the cars I used to look at on the Max Power era, in the magazines, and again, I've seen it online many times, and I've always thought it was absolutely bonkers. Just to be kind of in it, drive it, experience it, To say he's probably the only one that's left is a real privilege. A lot of people won't feel that, but for me, my era of this max power era, it's definitely up there with one of the wildest max power cars I've driven. And as with all max power cars, they're always awful to drive, and this is no different. Tyres, the noise, everything about it is wild. So we've probably been up to 30-40 mph on these quiet little runway stunts. You can kind of feel it pulling side to side of the width of the tyres causing you problems. There's probably flat spots on them, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad with the new set of tyres. But as I said, the brand new set of tyres for this car is £2,500. So it's not something you kind of take lightly and you just go, put a new set of tyres on it. But it does tram a lot, and you can feel the flat spots quite badly. But I suppose, which max power car was good to drive? Never mind one which was built 10 years prior to it. Because like I say, this was built in the 80s. Showing a bit of wear and tear now on the body, but to be fair, it has lasted better than a lot of the cars of that era. I think because it was so iconic, it has been very well looked after. So to emphasise how wide this car is, because again, I don't think the video will do it justice, I've put a piece of wood against that tyre. To the edge of this tyre, we are 2,030 mil, which is just over 2 metres, and we are bang on 80 inches wide. When I saw the smart car to one side, I had to take the opportunity to park this wide monster against this little pocket city car. To put this in perspective, this is half a metre wider than this. I hope that gives you an emphasis of how wide this thing is. 7 feet wide. Then you've got the four 4-inch tailpipes, and if you look even further under, you can just see these humongous 13-inch tyres. And then as you look up, going up, you've got this Escort Cosworth Sierra style humongous whale tail. This, again, was so unknown in the 80s. It was just coming through. So around the front, we have this humongous bumper, which is to fit these massive arches. And then moving on to the headlights, it has twin headlight conversion. Now for me, thinking out loud, Moretti and that kind of company, were they around in the 80s? I'm unsure, but then a lot of these cars had that done. And the bonnet was an Astra GTE bonnet by the looks of things, but it has this cutout. And on the spec sheet of Mattig, it did actually say a sport bonnet conversion. So I wonder if it, with this being offered as a dealer package as the MCN Extreme Cadet, did they take a brand new bonnet, cut the triangles and sent it as part of the kit? I suppose we'll never know, because a lot of the information of these cars from the 80s is lost. Is this the birth of the max power era as we know today in the 90s and 2000s? It's got to have some serious influence on it, because how many 80s cars can you remember which have these humongous fiberglass body kits? There can't have been many, but this was kind of a pure icon of a build. I can remember it, and every time this is posted online, the comments go wild. 7 feet wide, it's got 13-inch wide tyres, it's got a whale tail. I don't think there is a more extreme Vauxhall ever built. So I think you'll all agree, this 80s iconic car, which predates what we know as the max power era of the 90s and the 2000s, this, in my opinion, must have been the birth of that era. The birth of wild body kits, massively huge stance, and just looking insane and individual. Can you imagine driving around in the 80s in this thing? You would get more looks than you would in a Ferrari. So massive thank you to Red Fire Fabrication for pulling it out of storage, cleaning it and allowing me to come and film it. So I'll sign this one off, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you all on the next video.